The Frozen North, Episode 13, our top 5 game worlds.
Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Frozen North, your source for the best that story-focused gaming has to offer. My name is JJ, and I'm here alongside my two co-hosts, Mark.
Hey, I love video games. Howdy, y'all!
And Brian.
Whoa. I
think we're all a little deaf after that. Sometimes I wish we didn't wear headphones just because of, Mark.
That was abrupt. If you
It
guys,
was. It was.
Yeah, if you let me use a word.
Caught me
from
off guard.
I'm going to use a word from the dictionary on that one.
Oh, we caught you off guard because we yelled into them. Oh, wait, that was you.
Oh.
My ears.
Oh, my goodness.
So episode 13, man.
Woohoo!
Man.
All right.
Lucky number 13.
Yeah.
I like how you shoved one of those things in your mouth and then you turned your head and talked at the same time. Like everything you did canceled itself out.
Yeah.
All right. So, what have you guys been playing the past couple of weeks? Mark?
I've been playing Mass Effect 2, and I beat that last Sunday, so I played through 400 Days,
Nice.
Walking Dead. Liked it. It's pretty good. Can't wait for Season 2, supposedly going to be out soon.
Yep.
Also played a little Far Cry 3 and Wolf Among Us.
Very cool. I also played Mass Effect 2 for the first time. I think you and I both beat it pretty quick.
Yep.
We played the same amount of hours.
I could tell you guys were addicted when it was like, you guys were just like, oh, I'm about to beat it. I'm like, what? That's a long game.
Yeah, it was, well, we'll get into the review, but since I had so much free time after that, I got into Final Fantasy 2, like the original Final Fantasy 2
Nice.
from Japan. And I like it. It's good. It's a nice little trip down nostalgia lane.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing a journey?
I am not. I've beaten all of them except for this one and 3. So once I do that, I will effectively have conquered them all, other than 100%ing everything.
Nice.
So, which I don't know, maybe I'll do someday.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, I think I played a little bit of StarCraft 2, and that's about it. So
Really? A little StarCraft 2 action, huh?
yeah,
Nice.
that's about it. So Brian, you've been playing a whirlwind of games.
All right, gamers, hold on to your collective pants. Here's the Brian got kind of into a gaming mood, and I see
Hence
you guys
the
are
fact
grabbing.
that he's on a gaming podcast.
I see you guys are grabbing chips, but I want to make this quick. Played and
I'm not.
beat.
Mark is.
Played and beat Prototype 2. Played and beat 400 Days. I finally finished my second 100% run on Kingdom Hearts, this time the HD version. I am currently in the middle of just absolutely dominating Final Fantasy 2, like JJ said, just leveling up and having a good time. And I'm also I started Hitman, the first one, so Codename 47,
Nice.
and Killzone 1. So
It amazes me, you're not the only person that does this. People can play 4, 5, 6, 7 games at a time and apparently not get confused. I get storylines mixed up, and I'm like, what the heck was I doing this?
Let me explain real quick how I do a handheld game, only one at a time. Okay, so I don't like to mix up. I do an upstairs. So our PlayStation 3 is in the bedroom with Heather and I. So I have a PlayStation 3 game that I choose because I can't play that often because I don't get the TV that often.
So you've got your handheld, your upstairs, and your downstairs games?
That's literally exactly what I'm trying to say. I got my downstairs game, which includes my PlayStation 2, my Wii, my PC.
Brian, let's go play Mass Effect 3. I can't. Well, why not? Because that's a downstairs game and my brother's on the TV, so I can't. We're upstairs now.
Yeah,
so.
this is upstairs game time. No, for example, Heather was gone most of the day, so I spent time playing Killzone, right? Because the TV was available up in our room. And then when she's home, I go downstairs and play on the computer or something. Or the handheld is always good.
But that has nothing to do with what I said earlier.
No, I'm trying to explain to you why I have multiple games at a time.
And that's great, but that's not the point I was making.
You're a point.
I was saying that I find it's tough for me to
Gotcha.
keep track of that many storylines and that many
I gotcha.
gameplay elements and
I think
stuff.
it helps that he's not playing a lot of JRPGs.
No,
So it's not heavy on incoherent plot
well,
points.
no, and that's the other thing. Like,
I play one and I get confused.
I seriously have to take a break from JRPGs. Like, I was going to start Xenoblade Chronicles, and I was like, I can't. I just got done playing Star Ocean. I can't do it.
I completely understand. I love JRPGs, and I'm the same way. Like, that's why I'm so glad we did Mass Effect, was because I was like, you know what, Star Ocean is. I got my fix. I can do this. Now that I'm done with Mass Effect, though, I'm glad to get back into another one.
Right,
again.
right.
So
Wet your palate down, yeah.
absolutely. So cool. Yeah, it's been a pretty good couple of weeks for gaming. I think for all of us. Sounds like. Well, with that, why don't we head over to Brian with news?
Hey guys, we got your late breaking. Well, actually, not really late breaking, but we got your news.
got your
our
olds.
first news line of the day is that NASA and NSA, the National Security Administration, and the Central Intelligence Agency have been spying in online games, or allegedly.
Yes, he said NASA.
I wasn't sure.
I said NSA, and I said NISA. Anyway,
Mark and I just looked at each other like, NASA?
so the story on this is that our government has been fearful of terrorists using online games to communicate. So apparently, they've been putting counterintelligence agents in the game. You could have had one as your guildmate. For example, if you're playing WoW, you're in a dungeon. This guy's acting weird. He's asking you all kinds of questions, or he's not playing right, and you're like, God, this guy's a noob. Kick him from the party. And then that guy, you're like, hey, Men in Black 153, what are you doing? And he's like, nothing. And then you kick him from the group. He writes your name down, and you're on the drone attack list.
That's how it happens? That's exactly how it happens.
That's how I imagine it happens.
The drone attack list.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh. So,
We're giving a lot of accurate information out in
yeah,
this podcast
no
today.
joke. Brian's back to his old ways. Did you read the article?
No, I gave you the.
No?
No, I did. I'm that last part was just kind of how I imagine it going. No, basically the gist of it is that I just said the government's fearful that they're using the game to communicate.
Yeah.
And then so they have counterintelligence agents allegedly in the game, and they could have been your guild mate, a party mate. You don't know. You know, that's kind of.
I'm picturing like a NSA guy going up to like one of the newbie zones and finding one of the bots and just being like, "Hey, hey, what's going on?"
My
what I'm getting out of it
is you're like a really badass security. Like, you get into the CAA, you get selected from the police force. You're like, yeah, I'm in the CAA, and the first thing they say, sit you down and go, they're like, all right, agent, you are going to be infiltrating a very dangerous world. And you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to the Middle East, and they're like, you're going to be infiltrating the world of Warcraft. And you're like, wah.
Your alias is a dwarf named Dwingle.
Yes.
See, I think we're looking at it all wrong. Someone's being paid like between $60,000 and $100,000 a year to play World of Warcraft.
That's true.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
No, absolutely. I would do it. Shoot.
Yeah.
The next order of business on our news is that Bravely Default, and the same guy, the character designer for that, who also did Final Fantasy Tactics, he actually is leaving Square Enix. Akihiko Yoshida, who first joined Squaresoft in 1995, so he's been there almost 20 years. He says he would like to maintain a relationship with Square to continue working on the Bravely Default series, which that's good news for fans. I think he's really into that series. But I don't know. Is this a bad sign for Square? I mean, there's good news and there's bad news coming out of that camp.
I think it's just the nature of the beast.
Okay.
They say all good things must come to an end, and this is just another ornament that fell off the tree.
Hopefully they do let him remain, at least.
Hopefully it's kind of like a Nobuo Uematsu type deal, where like, no, they're not together on everything, but still every now and then they'll come in. And,
that's
hopefully it's not a Keiji Inafune kind of thing where he's no longer involved at all.
Right.
Correct.
Next,
we'll see.
Next, EA decided to instead of fixing Battlefield 4, they decided to comment on the console generation. They're saying it's only going to last 5 to 6 years. I say, what the beep do you know, EA? Like, why are they saying this? It doesn't make sense. Shut your mouth. Fix your games. Enough said.
5 to 6 years isn't that about right?
No.
What is it?
This generation was what?
8, 9?
8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
But this is a longer one than usual.
True. But
which is why they're buying them up in millions right now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But that's my whole thing is EA shut up and just do better.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo has a new one out by then.
That's our news right there. EA, shut up.
There you go. I saw him commenting on that, and the only thing I want to hear from EA is our game is broken and we need to fix it. Which they've said that, but stop commenting on other stuff. Just fix your game.
Hey, they have Madden,
Yeah.
which works,
Well, in the Mass Effect series.
and the Mass Effect series.
All right, our next one, and this kind of goes into both. I think all of us people who are familiar with computers know this, but the IGN, they tested the Xbox One's hard drive, and they filled it up to capacity, which is only about 362 gigabytes. Now, I will let you know that that's not any different on the PlayStation.
It's a little. They have a little more space.
A little bit more, but all people who are savvy with computers know that you don't ever, if it's a hard drive says 500 gigabytes, you're not getting that. Obviously, the operating system has to take up space, so
and they round.
Correct. So, I mean, that's kind of bad, but at the same time, that's kind of bad news. I think that news is more damning to the whole digital download.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can't put many games on that. I have a terabyte hard drive, and if I put all my Steam games, just my Steam games, if I install them all at once, that'll fill up. And so,
yeah, I have a 2 terabyte hard drive, and I've got over half of it.
Yep. So it's just kind of one of those things where you're like, well, come on, man.
It is like, I mean, if they were to have stuck with their initial thing of like pressing all of the digital content and everything, I mean, who wants to sit there and be like, I want to play this game. Oh, I have to uninstall this one first before I can do it every single time.
Yep.
I mean, what if you don't like it? Then you got to reinstall.
Reinstall, yeah. It's just one of those speed bumps that we're still trying to figure out how to get digital distribution, which I think still years away. The next order of business is, I think if you guys own a Nintendo device, you have noticed an update. I got mine today. The Miiverse, Nintendo has always been kind of accused of being kind of bad at the whole linking communities. If you have a 3DS, you're kind of separate from the Wii, separate from the Wii U. Well, they're starting to bring them together. The new system update kind of brings some features linked together, like Mi Universe or the Miiverse.
Miiverse, yep.
Right. Sadly, though, friend list is still separate. So if you have friends on the 3DS, you have to also add them again on the Wii U. It's not they haven't integrated that yet. It's a step in the right direction for the Nintendo Network, but I think they still got a long way to go. My last bullet point on this is Woot-teeny. So I don't know why I put that there, but our next order of business is Game of the Year. Obviously, if you care about the VGXs or whatever,
travesty.
I know there's
Travesty.
a million Game of the Year sites out there, but we're gonna go with the VGX because they're the only one on TV.
Oh boy! Did you guys watch the most awkward moments?
I did.
Video?
I saw that.
It was good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I feel like that's like most award shows though. They just don't ever come out clean. Upset alert though. Game of the Year was GTA 5. I know all of us here probably thought The Last of Us should have won it. I know I thought that was the better game. I've never played Grand Theft Auto 5, but people that have played both say The Last of Us is better. As far as our podcast is concerned, best RPG is Ni no Kuni, which my brother got me for Christmas, so I cannot wait to dive into that. I've never played it. I would go through the whole list, but it would take too much time. So if you head on over to spike.com, you can check out all the winners and losers. It is a travesty that Last of Us did not win Game of the Year, in my opinion.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think GTA 5 is awesome.
Yep.
But I mean, Last of Us was just so amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have put GTA in third place, to be honest.
Behind BioShock Infinite.
Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel the same way.
I don't know.
Our next order of business is, if you guys haven't seen it yet, Crowdfund Bookie. They keep track of crowdsourcing, like things like Indiegogo and Kickstarter for games specifically. They came out with all these graphs, and it was great. But they found that $23 million raised in 6 months for all game genres. The past 6 months, in a total 186 different Indiegogo/Kickstarter game projects earned $23,914,666 from the months of June to November. That's very impressive if you guys follow businesses and stuff. That's ridiculous.
How many games again?
It's 186.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
even if only a fourth of those games actually make it, that's still incredible.
And I looked at some of them that were on the top of the list. Mighty Number 9 looks absolutely. That's the top one. Mighty Number 9.
What is that spell like? I mean, obviously I know what it is, but what is it? What is it? Just PC or is it?
I don't know. I know PC for sure, but if you go to the website, it might tell you. Obviously, the top earner was Mighty Number 9. That's up to $3,845,170. That's
Of their $900,000 goal.
Yeah,
man.
Here's a bit of interesting news. I kind of took it to mean something. Adventure and the RPG games, they split those two up. They made a huge bulk of the total amount of crowdfunded games that got over the limit or stretch limit, meaning they blew past their goal. That was 84 of the 186.
It's gonna be. I mean, it was a stretch goal apparently. PS3, 360, and Wii U versions.
Gotcha.
That they blew past it. So, and it's gonna be on PS4 and Xbox One. Looks like, and PS Vita and 3DS.
Yes.
So it's all over the place.
But what I'm trying to say with this whole thing is, the action game was the number one as far as the most, and I think that's what Mighty number 9 fell into. But I just look at this as story-based games are still huge in the indie scene, and in fact, I think there's kind of an outcrying for more traditional storytelling games. That's what I took from this whole crowdfund booking. It made me really excited, for the indie industry of getting these games out. Looks pretty impressive. I'm pretty excited. Our next order of business is, I know we talked about this last news, but now it's finally been officially revealed that Fallout 4 is happening, and it is going to be set in Beantown. It's real, boys. It's happening.
Nice.
Boston is the location, or Massachusetts.
Boston or Massachusetts?
No, I'm saying like the whole state rather than just
Yeah.
It's in development right now, so woo!
Can't wait.
And then our last order of business is Steam Machine prototypes. They are, as of Friday, have been shipped.
They look cool.
300 beta testers will win their very own high-powered Steam machines, complete with crazy TACpad controllers and free SteamOS games. Sadly, for our overseas friends, Valve said they had to limit the beta to the U.S. Steam users because the alternate was to delay the whole process beyond the point. So, sorry guys overseas. Valve says that SteamOS will be downloadable for anyone when Steam machines ship. You should have gotten an email for that if you're a Steam user. And Mark is super serial-sided about this, guys.
Oh, yeah, I am.
Mark is...
Did you guys see the unboxings that were on Reddit?
Yes, it was interesting.
Those machines look awesome.
Yeah. So that actually concludes our news. I think JJ's got a few more.
There's two more things that just recently popped up. One, Mark probably knows a little bit more than I do about the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, the Oculus Rift secured $75 million in capital from
amazing investors.
An investment firm. I'm looking for the name here, called Marcus Andreessen. I don't know.
Gotcha.
He's invested in some other tech startups.
Andreessen Horowitz is the name of the company. It looks like.
Yeah. So that makes it.
And the Spark Capital and Formation 8.
The original Kickstarter made them $2.4 million. Earlier this summer, they secured something like $16 million, and now that's another $75 million in their pockets.
That's crazy.
And a couple of weeks ago, the co-founder of id Software quit and joined full-time. John Carmack joined full-time to be the chief technology officer for the Oculus Rift.
Looks like it's
the founder of the FPS genre.
Wow.
Nice. Very cool.
So that's pretty big news.
That's very awesome.
Awesome. Last but certainly not least, we finally have a confirmed release date for the Elder Scrolls Online. 4/14.
Four 14 guys. 4/14. So get your Elder Scrolls on and
April 4th.
Yep.
Well, I think that's it for news.
News is wrapped,
right.
guys. That's our news.
That's
our news.
Woo!
Girl.
Some good news.
That's great news. Good
All
news,
right.
guys. Good news.
Next on the list, we got our Spotlight. Over to Mark.
All right. Just a quick update for our last Spotlight. Stasis was funded.
Awesome.
Ended up making all 3 of its stretch goals between funds it generated from Kickstarter and an additional amount of funds from eBay. Not eBay. The
Kickstarter?
Not Kickstarter. Kickstarter generated $132,000, and then they got another, like, he doesn't say exactly, but I'm guessing $8,000 to $10,000 from the thing that eBay uses.
PayPal?
PayPal.
Yes.
It's PayPal, guys.
PayPal.
There you go.
Like, eBay got this game? What?
No.
Pay us McPallington.
There's some dots missing.
Fully funded, though, which is cool. So, also, if you have not gone to see the interview that Mark did with the developer. It's posted on our blog, so head on over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty good interview.
He had some awesome answers. So this week we're covering a game called Reset. It's a sci-fi noir mystery first-person puzzle game.
Wow.
It's two guys. It's just a two-person studio, but they are former employees from Future Mark. Are you guys familiar with the company Future Mark?
Is this where you set up your company and now your Future Mark?
No, that's not what the company is.
I was like, where are you going with that? Oh, never mind.
Man.
It's a company that makes PC benchmarking software,
Gotcha.
like 3D Mark.
Yeah.
We run these super high-end
I see a 3D
graphics.
Mark. See, I can do it too.
Yeah.
I am
This
three-dimensional.
is ripe for jokes.
So yeah, they've brought insane amounts of knowledge of graphics, technology with them.
Game looks pretty good.
It's going to have like a noir setting. You're inside. It's not exactly explicitly said because they're trying to keep the story under wraps, but you're inside some kind of robotic suit on a volcanic Galapagos island, a fictional one. My personal theory is that you're not inside a suit and it's maybe like self-aware or something, but that's
They just
not
lied
based.
to you.
It's not based on any knowledge I have because they're keeping the story under wraps, which
As
I
they
understand.
Should, as they should.
If you go look at the site, though, I mean, it looks really sharp.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looks very cool. And I think one of the cool things that I thought sounded interesting about it was how, like, there's no set path on how you're supposed to do everything. It's totally open world and totally, like, you can... there was, like, a certain number of giant puzzles that you had to complete throughout the world, and you could just go to any of them at any time and, at your leisure. So... it's pretty cool.
Yeah, based on the videos they showed, it kind of struck me as like a Dear Esther discover the story kind of approach, where it's not pushing a story on you. You're kind of just going around.
It's unfolding,
putting
as
together
you...
the details yourself.
Right on.
Definitely does a good job of putting you into the character's shoes.
Yeah. So it looks really cool. Their goal is 65,000 euros. They're currently at 25,759, unless it's changed since I wrote that number down. And I didn't write down how many days they have left. I think it was around 10. JJ's going to look it up for us.
I will. 8 days left from now, and today's Sunday.
Okay, cool.
So about a week left.
So hopefully they make that because it looks incredible.
Yeah, definitely does.
And I got in sort of email Q&A interview kind of thing that we should be putting up shortly after the episode goes up.
Excellent. All right. So yeah, definitely go be looking for that when after the episode goes up. Just keep an eye on the Facebook page, keep an eye on our blog.
Yep.
Well, with that, we will move into our one review for the episode, and it is a doozy.
Oh yeah.
Mass Effect 2.
This is one of Brian's favorite.
Second in the series. Mark, why are you making weird faces?
I was trying to minimize this window.
Does that help when you
Yes.
curl your lips like
it does help.
Okay, just checking. Mass Effect 2, developed by BioWare. I mean, you've heard our review of Mass Effect 1. A pretty common consensus. We all highly recommended it. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But what about this game? Is it good? Does it do what the first one does better?
Dun, dun.
All that and more coming up. Right now, I guess.
Right now.
I don't really have... There's no commercials.
Yeah, don't get up. Don't go get it. Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there it is. There it is.
I got chipped.
You did.
On my own show.
On your own, sure.
You jerk. Well, let's dive right in.
Okay.
Start with the pros. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Brian, you go first.
Since I'm a
Connoisseur?
seasoned Mass Effect vet. First, you should know this is my second favorite in the series, 3 being my favorite, so it goes 1, 2, and 3 for me. Pros,
You mean 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Well,
He got you there.
whichever
He got
order.
you.
Pros for me, biggest pro, the story, the writing in this game is phenomenal. If you were to just let BioWare... I see you getting the chip, JJ.
I'm not. Mark just... Mark just made this face when you said that.
Said what?
You're like, the story, and then he was just like...
Okay, we're going to get into disagreements, but let me just explain. The writing in this game is phenomenal, and that's not taking into account that you can play through this game in a variety of different ways.
Yep.
If they would have just took the story that I played through with, which was like a very militant shepherd who's really nice but sticks to the book, it was an extremely well written story. And there's also other ways you can go. So I mean, hats off to BioWare for a masterpiece, I thought. Yep. Another pro, the characters. If you're an old school RPG fan, it's kind of an homage to that, where you gather a giant group of characters, and they're all different. They all have different stories, and they tell them in different ways.
That's for sure.
Another pro is I actually liked the combat. They really refined it from the first one. It was very sharp, very responsive, as opposed to the first one was kind of wonky. The music is another pro. Phenomenal score.
That's true.
Continues through the whole series. 1 had a great one, 2 has a great one. And then my final pro is the voice acting. Absolutely superb. I didn't find many that I was like, well, that's bad. Really, all of them were very well voice acted.
I gotta say, and I was the same way in the first one. I didn't really notice the music.
Oh God,
that didn't stand out to me.
That last battle in the first one, where they're shooting down Sovereign, that's got some of the gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it sounded like the theme to Doctor Who.
Yeah,
well, that's probably why I didn't recognize it.
Yeah,
never seen it. Well, I've seen a little bit.
Those are my pros. You could put graphics in there, but it's a little bit older, so it's probably not going to be as. But when I played it, it was brand new, so the graphics were insane.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'll go. My pros, again, I totally agree. Characters are phenomenal. Each one is so different from the last, and even the ones that you don't like, you still want them around just because everybody adds something to the story, which is great. Another thing, and Mark experienced this as well, we kind of touched on it at the very beginning of the show. It's a fun game, and man, the time just flies by.
Yeah, you don't notice how long it is until you're like, wait, I put 40 hours into this?
Like, Mark, you beat it at what, 38 hours?
38, yep.
Yeah, I beat it at 38 as well, and I even did all the DLC, but I did not notice anything. Like, it was done.
Yep.
I remember, 3 days after I said I was going to be playing, I was like, guys, I think I'm almost done with this already. It just consumed, a couple of days of my life. It was crazy. But I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And the other pro that I have is that it took every complaint and little issue that I had with the first game, and it was like BioWare just read the minds of the people who played it and streamlined it and just fixed it and made it better. It's not perfect by any means.
Sure.
But they definitely fixed a lot of the big problems that the first one had, and everything just seems so much more clean.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to say it. They really just made things make more sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Game. So,
Mark, is that it for you, JJ?
That's it for me.
I need to add one. I need to add a pro. I'm sorry, the environments. I forgot that every planet you go to is like, Tachanka. There's Tachanka. There's the Citadel. There's Omega. A nightclub made.
Nobody likes Tachanka though.
I know, but just the differences in the planets are Elysium. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I think this is my favorite Mass Effect so far. Probably. Sure. There's definitely a stark comparison to be made between the game I played for this episode and the game I played last episode, where both of them I put in around 40 hours. Last episode, I definitely felt the 40 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
I was a little perturbed a few times when I realized I've been playing all day.
Yeah, last game was 40 hours in a month. This was 40 hours in 3 days.
Exactly. It took me a month to get around 40 hours in that game. And this one, like JJ said, I played it in probably 3 to 4 days because I couldn't stop playing.
Yeah.
It was that fun. It was that engaging. It was nice to get more characters of more diverse cast of characters from different races. Got
and
Batarians.
To see what happened to the ones from the first game.
Well. That was awesome.
Yep.
Having a Batarian on my team was awesome. Morden was the best character. Right, JJ?
But I want to correct you that Morden is not a Batarian. He is a Solarian.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
It's okay.
I don't think you got a Batarian, did you?
No, you don't get a Batarian in the second game.
The Batarians are the...
the
second
game.
The
Batarian and Vorcha are the ones you make in Omega that are...
Dude, there's so many races in this game. It's ridiculous.
Well, in the first game, you got what? Yes. Humans.
No, do not try to list them out because I will chip the crap out of you.
Well, in the first game, you got like 3 different races, and that's it.
I'll do it. I'll do it. We're not going over the races in Mass Effect.
That's too many.
We will be here all night.
I'm not going to name them. I'm just saying, in the first one, you got like 3 different races.
Yes.
In the second one, you got like 6. That was a massive improvement, in my opinion.
I've always been clamoring for either a Hanar or an Elcor.
That would be incredible.
As a battle mate,
excited. Yeah, that one. That's what I was thinking.
Very excited. Much fear.
I was glad to see more city type settings where you're just get a chance
you get to see the races where they live and how their culture works.
And it's a lot. My gosh, like when I hit the Citadel in the first one, the first time I ever played that game, I stopped playing at the Citadel because I was like, there's so much. This is ridiculous. Like, this city's way too big, and I don't want to be here for the next 12 years.
Right.
Finally forced myself to push through it, and I ended up loving the game. But, I mean, I told you guys, like, 25, 26 hours in, I was like, I still hadn't gone there because I was afraid. I was like, I don't want to fall into that again. And you're like, no, just go there. It's fine. It's just like the other cities. And I went, and it was fine. So much better in this one.
Yep.
So that was nice to see.
I think my last pro would be the loyalty missions. There's sort of a con built into it that we'll mention later, but I think the choices that you get to make in the loyalty missions are incredible.
Yeah, very tough choices.
You got to make choices that actually affect the game, at least feel like they affect the game.
And some of these choices you have made will, what's the word I'm looking for?
Tug at your heartstrings?
They exponentially compound in the third game. So a little choice that you're like, oh, that was a pretty tough choice, will absolutely grow to a monster in the third game. That's what's so amazing about it.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I love just having those moral choices one way or the other. And you really have to, like, think about, like, do I want to make the morally right choice and save these people? Or do I want to kill the guy that my teammate wants to kill?
And you don't even know if that's really the morally right choice. You don't know if that's going to come back to bite you in the end. Like in the first game, you set the Arachnite Queen. You have to go on trust that she's not going to get...
I understand.
You know what I mean?
But to be honest, I didn't play it like that. I played it like in the moment. I looked at it like...
But the right choice may not always be the right choice after hindsight is in, So it's kind of like one of those situations where you make this choice, but you have no idea what the ramifications are.
What's his face? The one of the DLC guys.
Are you talking about Zaid?
Zaid, yeah. His choice where like the guy, his whole loyalty mission is he wants to get revenge on this guy and kill him, and you finally catch up to this guy and he's about to escape, and Zaid's like, come on, we're there, we have to get him. But there's these people like in this building that's about to explode and come crashing down, and it's like you either have to go to save them or you have to say screw your mission, dude, we're going for you have to pick, kill the guy, save the people. And you're going to piss him off if you save the people.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things with, how do you want to...
Not all your crew members are like bleeding heart, I love flowers, nice guys. You have to decide, hey...
My crew member may not have the same mindset as me.
Exactly. They're not all like, oh, yes, we want to save the universe. We're not selfish at all. No, some of them are insane. Some of them are selfish.
Yep.
It's like you got to be a good commander.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great. It really is.
Absolutely.
So now that we've gushed about the pros, why don't we move on over to the other side of the coin here? I'll start with this one.
Yep.
I only have two, but they're kind of big. One is okay, and I told you this earlier, Brian. Like literally about 65% of the game is side quests and stuff that has nothing to do with the story. Like if you just plowed through the story, you'd be done in 20 hours. And that's it. Like we said, we played 40 hours almost.
Sure.
I mean, that's insane. Like, is it okay to have side quests? Sure. But, oh my gosh, let them, have a little bit more to do with the storyline. Tie it in there.
Yep.
And B, not so many. Right. Spend more time fleshing out the main storyline. Sure. I want to have these big epic missions and all this stuff, but I want it to mean something. And I know you said that, like, a lot of these small decisions do mean stuff later on, blah, blah, blah. But... if you come into this game not knowing that and you're just playing it like, I don't know, I think it almost would have been a turnoff to me.
Right.
If I didn't have you there to tell me what to expect later on and that kind of stuff.
Well, but that's valid because when Mass Effect, when BioWare first announced that they were going to do this whole, these games are linked, I don't think anybody realized, like, now you don't have the experience of playing through 3.
Yeah.
But I think even people playing 2 were like, how is this going to, I don't see how they're going to make this matter. And when you get done with 3, you're like, oh my God, some of these choices. Like, there are some choices you make in these games that either give you a whole giant mission in the third game or don't. Like, we're talking like epic missions in the third game based off your choices. It's amazing.
Definitely. Yeah. And the other one that I had, the other con that I had was that, honestly, the game was just too easy. And we talked about this earlier. I played a soldier, and Mark, what did you play? Technician?
Technician, yeah.
And I mean, two different playstyles completely.
Absolutely.
But I literally did not use any additional abilities that I had. I didn't switch ammo types. I didn't use, manually any of my party members' abilities, anything like that. I pretty much just shot everything, and that was it. And I played on normal. I didn't change it to easy or anything like that. I probably could have upped it, and that would have made it, a little bit tougher on me. But I've said before, I like just playing through the story.
You like to hear the story.
I didn't get to experience like the extra abilities and that kind of stuff because there was no need to.
Sure.
I was pretty much just button mashing.
You never did a nuke,
down.
did you? You never had the portable nuke, did you? That's my favorite gun.
No, never had it. So, but I mean, other than those two, game was great.
Right.
So, Mark?
Wasn't solid easy for me the whole time like it was for you. I definitely struggled with it at times. I think I went through a change in philosophy about how I approached the missions. At first, I was trying to have a diverse team. So since I was pure technician, I'd try to bring one pure soldier and one pure biotic. And that was a mistake. What you really want to do is understand what kind of enemies you're going to fight in the mission, and then just load up on people that are good against that. So once I found a good mix, then it got really easy for me, kind of like how JJ experienced.
Yep.
So I enjoyed, playing with it and trying to find the perfect mix.
To be honest, though, I don't want to make you feel bad, but I found that for me, it didn't even matter who I brought because I did all the work anyways.
Right. Well, what's funny is, and I read it a while ago. It was on I can't remember what forum, but if you play the game and you add, so each crew member has a different job on the ship, right? Mm-hmm. Most of them do at least. And they went through it. And they said, if you go to approach each mission like real life and say, okay, we have to rescue people who might be hurt. I need to bring a doctor. And you bring Morden. And you're like, okay, we have to do some technical stuff. And you bring a tech guy. And actually, that's how it's set up. So BioWare actually created it. So if you...
And that's what I try to do.
Right.
That's how I pick
and it
my
works.
teams.
And BioWare actually set it up so if you pick that way, if you use your head, it actually... does the whole rock, paper, scissors thing.
That's probably why. Because that's exactly what I did.
Right. You
it's
go,
it's an infiltration mission. Okay, great. I'm taking Kasumi.
Exactly.
Boom.
It's exactly what
that's what I did.
And it's awesome. You don't even know that they're doing that, but you're like, oh, I'm going to play logically. Okay, I'm going, like when I went to go discover the stalled out collector ship.
Yep.
I was like, okay, what do I need here? I need research. Obviously, Morden is going to be my best bet. Okay, obviously, he's going to come. And then I'm going to need a leader. So I brought Garrus, right? Perfect team for that mission. It's or bring somebody else that's suited to that. But if you bring I'm going to bring
research.
Miranda,
let me bring Grunt.
I'm going to bring Grunt and Miranda. It's like, no, that's not going to work out as well.
True enough.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a tangent.
Yeah, geez. We're not here to talk about the game.
Dare you, sir?
I liked the loyalty missions. I didn't have the problem that you had, JJ, but I definitely can see that it was a problem because there wasn't a whole lot to the main story, and that's actually one of my cons.
Sure. I was considering the loyalty missions as part of the main story,
and that's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
but there's so much stuff beyond that,
right?
And it was just like, ugh,
right.
Come on.
I definitely loved every minute of the game, but I wasn't when I stepped back at the end and looked at the game. I wasn't blown away by the plot, I'll be honest.
And if you think about it realistically, how many times can you sit there and be like, you know what, let's put off saving the galaxy,
right,
and let's go take this package over to another planet for this guy real quick.
Exactly.
I mean, come on, So I don't know. Yeah.
Another gripe, Commander Shepard's an idiot.
How so?
If you want to pursue all of the dialogue options and get the fullest experience of the story, you have to play him like an idiot. The best example would be Morden's loyalty mission when you're going down into Chunka and you're trying to... I guess you find out someone's curing the genophage.
His old pupil.
And you keep questioning Morden constantly, and he's explained himself 4 times already why he made the decision and why it was the right decision. And you just keep saying, how could you do that? And you keep moralizing to him, even though he's explained himself that many times. But if you don't, then you miss out on the story.
Right. So
you have to play as an idiot.
I completely understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yep.
I do. I hear you.
I mean, I see that. I disagree somewhat. In my cons, my 2 cons, I have 2. First, a game always gets a con if it's too easy, and honestly, Mass Effect was too easy. The whole series, in my opinion, just it seemed like that the shooter elements were just kind of a filler to get you to the story.
Yep.
Yeah.
My other con is, and it's not a con for me anymore because I know how to play now. Once you play the game, you know how it's structured. You can actually set it up so it doesn't do what you're at. Like you said, it's very disjointed, and it is.
Yep.
If you don't know how it goes when you're, I'm going to speak through people who've never played this game before. If you're not really sure how the structure works, it's going to be a very disjointed story, and there's no sense of urgency, which there should be. Like, at one point there's a big. I'm not going to give it away because I think it's a really fun aspect of the game, but something happens, an event that's a timed event, and you have to go in a meeting, and they have to say, like, okay, should we do this or should we do this? The obvious choice is, if you're a commander, is to do this thing, but you'll miss out on some other things. And I felt like that was like, oh no, we'll just wait on it. Kind of felt like,
yeah.
But as somebody who's played through the game, I've played through number 2 4 times, and when I play through it, man, when I play through it, my 4th time, I did it perfectly. I recommend doing don't do any side quests unless they're on your path of going somewhere, right? Go to do all the loyalty missions, go to do the main missions. Once you beat the game, you get a chance to do that all the other stuff, and it actually makes the game feel real because now you're done. Everything's finished. Now you can go clean up the mercenaries and do all the side stuff, and there's a DLC that you can go do that sets up so that's what I recommend doing if you're for some the side quests are fine. Do them as you're like traveling to a new place. Oh, hey, this is in between the path. I'll stop here, but don't go out of your way. Just get the story done. When the game's over, boom.
All right.
I still have some more cons.
Do it.
Go ahead.
This is going to be my con for almost every game like this. I'm not too pleased with the binary nature of the morality in the game, where you're either Paragon or you're Renegade. You're either good or you're evil.
There's a lot of instances where you look at the choices they give you and you're like, well, I don't want to say either of those.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a couple other things that I could probably say right now.
It's not a specific gripe against just this game, though, so I can't really hold that against it.
And that's something that's tough to kind of deal with because how are you supposed to figure out what every single person on the planet is going to be doing in that situation?
Right.
So
exactly.
Do the best you can, but I completely agree.
Everyone doesn't like the whole bad or good. It's like there's gray everywhere.
The Witcher does a good job with that.
Absolutely.
But that's about the only example I can think of. My final con is, and I know JJ just said this the other way around, I really liked the way the Citadel was handled in the first game, where you drop in there and you have so much to do. Ugh. And you can go take on any mission you want. You can take it on from any person's perspective. That was one of my favorite parts about the first game, was like there's a problem and you can choose who you want to deal with the problem through in the Citadel, some of the small missions. And I really missed having big cities to explore. And they kind of made the cities seem big with your little side missions, but those are just little cordoned off areas that you never get to go back to later on.
They streamlined them.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love big cities, but in the first game, there was so much in that one city that I spent more time there than I did out exploring the galaxy, which is what I wanted to do. That's what my problem was with it. I absolutely thought. I mean, it was beautiful. It was awesome. Like the scale of it and the scope and everything, and just looking at the design of the whole city was incredible. But I just felt I spent way too much time there, and it seemed like every time I was like, okay, well, I just finished this quest. Oh, 3 more just popped up. Great, now I get to stay here even longer. Right, and it was just like it kind of just started to wear on me. Yeah, which is why the very first time I played it, I just kind of backed off, and I was like, all right, you know what, I'll come back to it later, and I didn't until we started doing this.
Right.
So that's my gripe, though. I mean, I completely see where you're coming from, and I think it's great. I like the way they did it in the second one better. Yeah, personally. Anything else?
That's it.
Nope. All right. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty much common consensus. We all definitely recommend the game. I think for me personally, I would say definitely don't play it as a standalone.
Yeah, you got to play 1 first.
You have to play the series.
This is a series package. So I recommend 2 with the caveat of you have to play 1 first. Yep. If they're like, hey, should I just play now? There's a Genesis comic that you can get with the trilogy where if you start with 2, it'll play that. Yep. Don't do that. It's going to cheapen the whole thing. Play the first game. It's a great story. It sets up, all the other ones.
And honestly, after playing the first one, you'll appreciate the second one a lot more, I think.
God, yeah.
Because it, like I said before, it streamlines everything and makes everything, just takes every complaint that you have about the first one, and virtually every complaint that you have about the first one, and you're like, oh, they got away with this? Sweet. Oh, this is better? Awesome. Yep. So, Mark, recommend it?
I would recommend it at $60, and I definitely recommend it at its reduced price.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very good game.
Yeah. Well, they still have the trilogy on sale.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
I mean, I bought the
Go
trilogy.
pick that up.
$35.
And you guys are in for a treat. My personal favorite is 3, and that's coming up in a future episode. So.
Oh, we should probably mention I played on PS3. Mark played on Xbox 360,
and I put it on the computer.
Brian played on PC,
which I recommend the computer over any other platform.
I do as well. I had on PS3. I had load times that were atrocious.
Mine were non-existent. In fact, I told JJ in the third game, there's like really cool loading scenes where it'll show like a little video. I was like, I wanted to see that, but no loading.
You wanted to see the diagram of the elevator going down the
No.
floor?
In the third game, it's actually like a CGI video of like your ship landing at the station.
Yeah.
That's how the first game was, right?
Yes.
Well, if the load times in the third game are anything like the second game, then I'll probably get to see those 2 or 3 times.
Yes, there you go.
So, all right. How were the load times and stuff on the 360?
They weren't great. I'd say, that moment where you realize you're waiting on a load screen?
Yeah. And then it goes?
That's about when it finishes up.
So either way, PC's probably the best bet.
Yep.
Definitely.
So, but again, when you make up your mind on that, make sure you get all 3 games on that platform. That way you can transfer everything from one to the next. So that's what you want to do. Awesome. Well, with that, wow, my voice just like well,
hey guys, with that,
why don't we move into our top 5? We're gonna move into our top 5 game worlds.
Woo!
Top 5
game
Worlds.
That was actually really good. We didn't even plan that.
I don't know that was that good, to be honest. That was a little weird. Okay.
What do we mean by game worlds, JJ? Why don't you explain that to the audience?
What do we mean by game worlds? We mean the world inside of the game.
Do we mean a specific point or the whole game?
We mean like the setting of the game. Like Mass Effect, you've got futuristic galaxy
Milky
with
Way.
all these races and all this everything like that.
Okay.
And, from there on.
Right on.
So. Who hasn't started in a while? I think I started either last time or the time before. Mark hasn't
I don't
started
know.
in a while.
Have I not started in a while?
I don't think so.
Mark.
Let me start with you.
My number 5, I've changed it. It's
I don't think people knew that, Mark.
Anarchy Online.
It's not like they knew what it was before.
Well,
Guys, I changed
really
it. I'm really
any
sorry.
I changed it, so there you have it.
Contrary to what may have leaked to the press.
Controversy.
No, I was just buying time. Yeah, it's
Yeah, because he
Anarchy
doesn't have
Online.
a paragraph to read.
I don't. This is probably my favorite MMORPG, and the plot definitely plays a big part in that. The game I originally had on my list, just further
Here's the formal
exacerbate
apology.
this problem. The game I originally had on there was The Longest Journey, which was also written by Ragnar Tornquist.
But wait a minute, Mark. You said something about the plot, but you have to take the plot out of this because the plot has nothing to do with it.
It's the setting, obviously. It's Rubika. It's this planet out in space, and it's got this whole sort of like Dune setting to it, where
excellent.
There's this stuff called Notum that is necessary for nanotechnology to work. Nanotechnology, in the sense of this game, is like magic, essentially.
Yep.
And so it's the only place in the universe you can get it, and everybody needs it. So there's a mega corporation on one side, and there's the clans and all the other cities on the other side. And it's this massive battle between the two.
So you like the way the planet looks?
Well, yeah, I like the backstory of the planet.
Gotcha.
Backstory is part of setting.
I understand that.
He is. He's right. He's right on.
And it's like it's a desert, and with the expansion you also have the Shadowlands.
Yeah.
Which was so incredible. It was.
I will play it again when they come out with their graphics.
That's
update.
never going to happen.
John said that they were working on it.
Yeah, but they've been working on it
No.
for 5
I
years.
mean, but he said they recently did some headway or something on it. I don't know.
Nice.
We'll have to look into it.
Note him. Damn
I'll
near
definitely
killed him.
Hey-o.
pay for a month and play for half when it comes out.
What's your highest level on there?
I think like 90.
Oh,
Not
man.
that high.
When I stayed with your brother, when your brother was still in college, and I went up to Iowa to stay, and we stayed in his apartment for like 2 days straight, and I got to like level 123.
Nice.
It's ridiculous, but man, it was fun.
Yep.
I'll go next. My number 5 is The Secret of Mana. And you might be saying, but JJ, that's just a simple fantasy world. Why?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Kind of standard fantasy.
Let me tell you why.
Why not Hyrule?
And to be honest, because Hyrule doesn't have what I'm about to tell you.
All right. Go ahead.
The way you travel around, no, not by horseback. No, not by airship. No, not even by boat. You get put into a cannon fired up into the sky, thousands of feet.
That's pretty cool.
And you fly down where you need to land. Cannon travel.
Cannon travel.
That's why.
Yep.
It is awesome. And you know how you don't die every single time they do it?
Yeah,
I have no idea because you land really hard.
Parachute?
Nope.
No parachute.
You just fly up. It shows you doing
Nice.
flips.
It's the old Wile E. Coyote physics, huh?
It shows you doing a bunch of flips in the air, and then you just come crashing down into the ground.
That's pretty funny.
Every time. It is great. Other than that, it's your simple fantasy world, and I mean, it's one of my favorite games of all time, so I simply love it. But that cannon travel is just, that does it for me.
Right
I
there.
love it. Love it.
Excellent. My number 5 is actually a tie. The reason it's a tie is because it's Rapture and then Columbia from BioShock Infinite and BioShock 1. The reason they're a tie is because they're basically antithesis to each other. They're basically the opposite. One's high in the sky, Columbia. One's under the water, Rapture. And just the environment, like the color scheme for Rapture is kind of like grays and blues and underwater, you know, kind of that almost future tech. I kind of looked at it as like you ever watch those old 60s sci-fi movies with like the future tech and they're kind of like bubbly, you know, the bubbly ray gun and all that stuff. Yeah. You know, and it was a very utilitarian society where it's not necessarily a government. It's all about yourself, the individual. Whereas Columbia, bright colors, more steampunk, and a lot more religious zeal to it. But you know, up in the clouds makes sense. Heaven down below. You know, you can make the argument heaven and hell between those two. But I'm telling you guys, just the visuals alone when you walk into Rapture for the first time.
I need to play it.
When you walk into Rapture for the first time, you're like, oh my god. And then when you when you get, you know,
oh my god,
when you get shot up in the rocket to Columbia, you're like, oh my god. But those are why they're tied. They're very very similar,
really cool,
but opposite.
Part of the same world too. So.
They're not. They're technically part of the same world.
Yeah. Shall we move on, or you got something to say?
No.
You kind of looked like you were going to say something. You went.
I was just going to say, one of them's like the pure capitalist end game, and one of them's like the pure religion end game.
Yes,
gotcha.
Exactly.
Cool.
Very opposite.
That's a series that I'd like to get into eventually, and who knows, maybe I will.
Those environments.
Oh man! Hint.
Hint.
Our next episode, possibly.
Yep. Possibly.
We have some choices involved.
Mm-hmm.
Mark and I both have the same number 4.
Woo!
Why don't you guys both talk about it?
We know what's up. Mark, why don't you tell them what it is?
It's the Mass Effect series.
Oh!
Yes, it is.
And we're not as well informed as Brian is, but we
why,
still love it.
Which is why I have that higher on my list.
It's
it's awesome.
It's Milky
All
Way.
the different races are so well fleshed out.
Yep.
Just flying around in space is always awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What do you think?
It's just cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just that sci-fi thing that's not like all science mumbo jumbo and technical talk. It's also like all about the people and the environments, and you know, it just really, really grabs you, pulls you in, and man, I'd just love to visit some of those places.
Definitely.
Just the diversity of the planets is amazing.
So, faux show. Mark and I number 4, Mass Effect series. Brian.
My number 4 is a dystopian Earth.
Now, hold on. Before you say this, when I made my list, because I think I hear you on this one, but when I made my list, I thought of game worlds that I myself would want to live in.
Oh.
I don't know that I want to do this with your next
why would you make your
choice.
list based on where you want to live in? How about ones that are just amazingly fleshed out? And
I agree, absolutely, but I
this
don't.
is definitely
I don't
one
know
you
that
don't want to live in.
ever want to visit this one.
It's because this is a dystopian future Earth, The Last of Us, taken over by the plants and the parasites, what have you. Yep. Wow, that I felt like the setting in this game was its own character. I mean, we're talking about you go to these cities and they're just overgrown. Like you
can tell it's been a while,
and you can tell the power of basically nature. Of as soon as we're gone, that's just gonna be like, all right, we're taking over everything.
Yeah, it was like that documentary they had a couple of years ago.
Yeah, how the Earth will swallow everything everything we think.
It's not going to wait very long.
We think we're so great, we're awesome. When we're gone, Earth is just gonna be like, okay, we're taking it back. I mean, that's kind of how it felt to me. Like this, you know, we are.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, as Jeff Goldblum said in Jurassic Park.
That's
yes.
right.
No, just that I felt whenever a setting feels like its own character, and that's how I felt with BioShock and in Infinite and BioShock 1. It felt like its own character, and that'll always be high praise for me. And The Last of Us, that Earth was mightily scary. I would not want to live there either, JJ.
Yep. All right. Number 3, Mark, hit us.
Oh, man.
Hit us with that 3, Mark.
My number 3 is The Legend of Zelda
Give me a high five.
And for some reason, it's not on JJ's list.
Yeah.
Any specific... Oh, my God.
God. I mean...
Well, I feel like Brian approaches it from the character of the setting.
Yes.
And I'm kind of... In my list, I've more approached it from how incredibly in-depth the backstory is. And in Zelda, the entire series takes place in the timeline. From start to finish, you've got the flooded timeline, and you've got the child timeline.
Think about it, though. Unless you were, like, one of these main characters in the story...
Oh, no, I wouldn't want to live there.
You wouldn't know anything about on any of those previous timelines.
But we're talking about the environment. Like, what? Go ahead, Mark. It's higher up on my list, so I'll talk about it when it's
Oh, some of the stuff that happens in Skyward Sword has become the lore of the world.
Exactly. It's awesome.
Is that the first one, or the...
Skyward Sword is supposed to be the birth of Hyrule.
That's right.
I've never played it before, so I'm coming at this.
I've played very, very little of it. I own it, but I haven't delved too deep into it.
It's awesome. It's so layered between the different games.
Yep.
You got all these different places.
Do you have a specific one that you would choose?
The one I'm most familiar with and my favorite one.
Don't say Wind Waker.
I wasn't going to say Wind Waker. I was going to say Link to the Past.
Yep.
Solid.
It's a very solid Hyrule.
I'm not like knocking your choice for putting it on there. It just wasn't, there's nothing really...
Oh, no, you're not knocking we're knocking your choice for not putting it on there.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, nothing about it stands out to me beyond a normal fantasy world.
I guess I could see that. For me, I've loved... They were always really coy about saying whether or not they're actually
You're just
in
talking
a
about
timeline.
having a world that has such a rich history.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that.
Sure.
Totally. But to be honest, like...
I got another angle.
But if you look at the map of all the different games and you see how there's kind of like this continuity, and you can imagine all these things happened in this location throughout the history of the series, it's just kind of fun to me. It's all there. It's like going to a World War I.
Sure.
Right. So I don't know.
Yes.
I've got another
It's
angle.
like going to historical places
Mark,
in general,
Mark,
obviously.
This one's higher on my list, and I got another angle to attack JJ. So when we get to it, I'll attack him.
Yeah, everybody knows World War I is the Skyward Sword of our history. Absolutely.
You know where I was going with that?
God.
All right.
My turn.
JJ,
My turn.
Go ahead on your number 3.
My number 3, and Brian, I'm surprised you don't have this on your list.
I'll explain to you when you get done.
The World of Warcraft. You talk about a world that has rich backstory. Boom, right there. I mean, you've got so many different races, you've got so many different places, you've got great environments, tons of history, tons of character, so much to do. It's just, it's a living, breathing world, and you get that from your first 3 minutes into the game. It really is. It's awesome.
And this is why it's definitely an honorable mention on my list, but the reason I disagree is while Azeroth and Outland are absolutely awesome and it's diverse, I never really felt like I felt like it was more about the characters in that game rather than the environment and the setting. It never felt like that oh, hey, look, I'm in Ashenvale. Even though I know about the lore of it, it just never struck me as... like I said, it's definitely an honorable mention, and I get why you put it on there, but this reason why it's on my list is that the environment never felt like a character to me, and that's the criteria.
And what's funny is I'm the exact opposite. Like, for me, it's the environment, and the characters never really did anything for me. They just didn't... I didn't read any of the books. I'm not really huge on the lore. I just know that it's deep.
I'm high on this game. I am. I see your point. I do know why it's on your list, and it almost made mine, but just not quite.
Sure enough. All right, we'll move on to yours.
My number 3, short and sweet, Mass Effect series. You might ask, hey, Brian, wasn't it higher? Well,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Hey, Brian, why isn't it higher?
That just happened.
Mark, one more time.
Hey, Brian, why isn't it higher?
Mass Effect series, it's the Milky Way galaxy, but the thing that made it great, that the discovery of the mass relay, and then the study of the Protheans. Just like I said, the biggest criteria for my list is that the environment and the setting feels like another character. That it's got its own flavor. That's it's grape. You know what I mean? Not just bland. And did
you just say the Mass Effect universe is grape flavored?
Yes, grape flavored.
What's wrong with purple, Mark?
Yeah.
You tell me. Yeah. You tell me what's wrong with purple.
But that's why it's on my list. I mean, you've got a giant diversity of planets. It's very fleshed out, and just the visuals alone are just enough to make you go, woo! But that's why it's on my list. I mean, it's
Mass Effect.
It's Mass Effect.
Heck yeah.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. Mark, number 2.
So this is definitely a setting that makes me go, woo! As well.
Mark, why did I par?
Hey, Mark, why does make you go, woo?
It's the Suikoden series. Surprise!
It's the what?
Suikoden.
That's shoot.
Suikoden.
Oh shoot! It's the Suikoden series. Where's your brother? I need to look at him and make sure I got it right. As I said last episode, it's like Game of the Thrones.
The
video games.
There are many thrones.
Video game. I'm just going to name drop here. I'm going to name drop here. You got the Highland Empire. You got the city-states of Joustin. You've got the Scarlet Moon Empire. You've got the Grasslands. You've got the Holy Kingdom of Harmonia.
To name a few.
To name a few, right. It's a world that's rich with history. Going back, I think Suikoden 4 is like 200 plus years in the past compared to the first game.
Any game that has 108 main characters that each have their own backstory.
That's impressive.
It's incredible.
Gonna have
it's incredible.
Some deep lore.
Yeah.
And it's got so much stuff there in those games that isn't the main plot, like the whole side plot with what's going on with the
This, if we had top 6, this would be my number 6.
Yep.
Right.
Definitely.
Like there's a whole thing with the Gothic Neck Lord and vampirism and all that stuff that you can see if you really look for it, but it's not part of the main plot. There's so much stuff like that where you can kind of watch it evolve throughout the games on the side. And then it's just pure politics. It's awesome. Backstabbing left and right.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
All right. My next one is controversial. Brian already gave me crap about it earlier, but I like it, so screw you guys. Final Fantasy 11.
How is this higher? How is it higher than World of Warcraft?
Because it's Final Fantasy and I'm a fanboy. I like it for the same reasons. It's another one of those that's just really, really rich, and not only is it like this grand fleshed out world with all these different things you can do and all these huge massive cities and alliances and just tons of things to do, but you can also then go into the past and see the exact same world from a different angle while it was at war and participate in all these old ancient battles and everything. And I mean, it's just there's just so much to do there and so much to experience.
You can do that in World of Warcraft also.
Yes.
Isn't there that time travel mission?
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not even close. If anybody who's played Final Fantasy 11 knows what I'm talking about. It's not the same. No way. It's awesome. It is. I like it, and I guarantee you this is not like a popular choice among a lot of people, but this is just something that's always going to be near and dear to my heart. Absolutely. It's always going to be near and dear to my heart, and you know what? I'll get some street cred back when I talk about my number 1 anyway, so it's all good. And no, it's not Final Fantasy VI. Fun fact, Final Fantasy VI, yes, is my favorite game. However, I cannot stand steampunk.
He doesn't. He hates it.
Why do you hate it so much?
I don't hate it. I just
He thinks it's dumb.
You just can't stand
it. It's
it.
not my thing. I don't really like it. Yeah.
I don't hate it. I just can't stand it.
It's not what I said.
It's always like steaming and being on punk and stuff.
Yes.
In that case, I probably would hate it too.
Yeah. It's always like, hey guys, I'm steampunk.
What is happening right now?
We're breaking new ground, man.
Oh my gosh, you're breaking something.
I just brought voice to steampunk, all right?
Oh god.
Hey guys, I'm a punk.
Jules Verne is
Turning in his grave.
Brian, you're number 2.
My number 2 is The Legend of Zelda series, Hyrule, the goddesses, the 3 goddesses. I mean, first of all, colors alone.
He likes the blue one.
I do love the blue one. She created the water. But the colors alone, I mean, even the first Zelda for the NES had some of the best color. Like, just whoa, you kind of struck you as like, this is a sweet world.
Yeah.
And Hyrule's always been, it's got its zones. It's got the water zone. It's got the mountain area, the mountainous volcanic area.
The mountain area with all those mountains.
And
Whoa.
It's got the, it's got the forest.
With all those trees.
Yeah.
It's got the desert.
With all that sand.
It's got the desert. And
it's got like all the places that all the other settings have.
With the things?
Yes. But I mean, the way they're done is just phenomenal.
I don't think anybody who is a Zelda fan can argue that Zelda has got some great environments.
It's just it's a living thing. It's always,
except in Ocarina of Time, the water temple sucks. I hate it.
Yeah, the water temple is
it's a bizzle.
It's a bizzle. But that's one. I mean, I don't really know if I have to go into it, but come on, guys, Zelda series.
I'm with you.
2. Yeah. Yep.
Good stuff.
JJ's the blasphemer.
Really? You gonna say that after we talk about our number 1?
No.
All right.
Brian is.
Brian is now.
No, and I'll explain why this is not my number 1.
You're gonna have to explain why it's not and why your number 1 is your number 1. All right. So, number 1 for Mark and I, clearly the superior.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Mark and I have the same number 1. It is the Elder Scrolls series.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you want to talk about a world that's got tons of backstory and tons of history.
Lord of the Rings.
Ah, come on.
What?
It's not. You can literally walk around in Elder Scrolls just reading books, and you will get so much freaking history and lore out of that just from reading books inside of a game. You don't have to play the game.
What's going on with the Aldmeri Dominion, huh, Brian? I don't bring this up every time we talk about
What's
it, do I?
What's going on is they want to seclude themselves from everybody else because they think they're better, a.k.a.
No.
J.R.R.
Hold on. They don't want to seclude themselves. They have, what are they called? Justiciars that are in Skyrim.
Justicars,
They're in Skyrim going around making sure that people aren't worshiping Talos, because Talos is an example of human exceptionalism, which is something that strikes them as terrible, being elves.
Because they think they're better than other races.
Right, so they're enforcing...
a.k.a. J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings series.
I also think the cities are pretty...
The only similarity is that there's elves in it!
No! It's the whole...
Is that what happened? I don't remember that part, when the elves were going around forcing everyone to worship their gods.
Look, I
like the dwarves, too.
While I agree that Tamriel is an absolutely awesome setting, the problem that I had putting it on my list...
It's called Nirn. Huh?
Whatever.
The world's called Nirn.
Nirn.
That's just one of the continents.
Come on. No, the only problem I had, why it's not on my list, is because it is too similar to the most famous of all, Middle Earth.
So why didn't you put that one on there?
Because it's not a video game.
Yes, it is.
It is.
It's
Lotro
some games, but no, it's.
I feel like those are superficial similarities.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you guys talk. I respect the choice, but I can't put it on my list because it's too stock fantasy.
No.
It's too. I don't.
So you have Zelda on your list. That's stock fantasy.
Have you ever heard of a Goron before? Or those swimmy things
from Zelda.
No, I'm saying like there's Zelda is actually an original fantasy setting, as where elves, dwarves, halflings. Okay, hello. What are we talking about here? Humans. Who's orcs?
I don't remember the race called humans in the Elder Scrolls Online.
Redguard.
Yeah, the Red Guard,
a.k.a. the horse people of what's Whiterun. Or no, wait, I'm mixing up my genres now. I'll go ahead and talk about your number ones, but
we're done. I think.
Yeah,
yeah, I think we made our point.
Elder Scrolls series is incredible. It really is, and the world is so rich.
It is similar to the Lord of the Rings world. In
Both
that
have swords.
If you look into like the origin story, it's like completely incoherent. I can't keep track of it because of all the different
gods and
All right, well, Brian, why don't you go ahead and move into your number one?
Shame, Brian.
I gave him a bunch of crap about it because honestly, I don't
wish
know
you would put it on your list.
I don't know why it's not on my list, but I mean, I do.
You probably forgot about it. And then
No,
he saw
no,
ours and
honestly,
he was like, dang it.
Honestly,
I like his number one.
When I thought of my list, it had to be something fresh. Like, I mean, I could put every fantasy world ever on the list. Everyone loves that stuff, right?
Do you see they're re-releasing Spawn?
Are they?
No, I'm kidding.
No, my number one, and I feel bad for ragging on their number one because honestly, this is a stock Final Fantasy world, but it's Final Fantasy VII, Gaia, the world of Gaia. The reason it's on my number one is because when I first played that game, you're stuck in Midgard, and you're blowing up Mako reactors, and honestly, and this is my thought was, oh, this is the game. We're going to be going.
Everybody
around,
thought that.
We're going to be going around this big city. I mean, it was a huge city, so it was.
Everybody thought that,
right? And you're like, this is okay. We're going to go around. We're going to fight Shinra. This is the whole game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it absolutely opens up. And
How long is that first part before you get out of?
about 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours, yeah. And then and when you're out in the world map and you see how big it is, you're like.
This from the same guy who condemned me for liking world maps in games, talking about how they're not
Oh,
necessary.
Yeah, what was that all about?
And blah, blah, blah.
You don't need them. I'm not talking about the world map. I'm talking about the effect of the world map showing me how big the world was and how many different environments there were. Like, you got the little island of Wutai out there that's, kind of not connected with the world. They're kind of,
Mark knows
secluded.
that place.
Oh, don't remind me.
No, but it's got a mixture of like that fantasy medieval setting with the, obviously Midgard's a very technological, and there's magic involved and literally the world's alive. Gaia can feel pain, tries to protect itself. You've got the meteor coming down or the calamity.
Correct.
So,
but I'm talking. You said when you got out of Midgard, you were like, "Holy crap! There's so much out here." Bam. And it's because there was a world map there.
The world map's the vessel for that. It could have been way
correct.
different.
And you don't think that it would have the same effect on newer games like that?
If they would have got out of Midgard and they would have opened up and said click here to go here, it would have been the same thing. Only instead of having to click here, I had to walk there. It's like,
you really would have had the same effect.
Yeah, it would have been huge.
Seriously.
Like, whoa,
I think this is our most argumentative top five.
There's no way. This is really.
Yeah, I'm not.
If you had a point and click after you got out of Midgard,
Yes.
you would have been like, "Oh my gosh, look at the scope of this game!"
What, like Suikoden 3 style?
No, like freaking Mario World.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Come on!
exactly.
I don't need to run to a place in a world map. I just need to go to the new place.
No.
We
Scale
don't like
and scope.
Hey,
that's what world maps do.
This just in, audience. This isn't. We don't respect each other's opinions at all. Apparently,
No, it's just that Brian's wrong all the time.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
So, anyways, there's our top 5 game worlds.
Well, hold on.
Some
He was
better
gonna say
than others.
something nice about the. He wanted to say something nice about it, right? He put it on his list.
No, that's true.
It's not just us tearing them apart for.
He did. He said the world map thing.
No. I said it's the diversity of the world. The fact that the world's alive. You've got weapons buried.
Yeah,
in
there's
the
some
earth.
cool locations.
There's a giant meteor, and out from that meteor come 4. Where they come from? Why are they here? They're weapons. They're designed to protect the Gaia.
What was that city with the giant cannon? Was that Juno?
Juno. Yeah,
That was awesome.
Junon.
And you have to go and march.
J-U-N-O-N.
Oh man.
I mean, just think about
You know
it.
what sucks?
Marching?
That does. But you know what else sucks? Is completely off topic. You can't save PlayStation 1 games on PlayStation 2 memory cards.
No, you can't.
Correct. Yep.
And think about this, guys. Holy heck'em hell. You get to go to outer space.
True.
Spoiler.
Alert.
Is that all?
That's it.
Ugh, jeez.
Man, we did not like each other's choices.
Oh, it's because if you would, give a right answer every now and then, maybe it'd be a little easier.
All right.
Jeez.
I'm uncomfortable.
So there it is, our top 5 game worlds. Good Lord, I thought that would be a lot easier than it was.
No, we didn't like it.
Man. All right, we got a couple of emails. Messages on Facebook. First one, we got, let's see, Dave. He says, just listen to your first couple of podcasts. Wanted to let you guys know how much I enjoyed them. Keep up the good work, and I look forward to listening to your podcast from here on out. Dave, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.
We love hearing the comments.
Feedback's good.
Definitely.
He's gonna like this one, where we lose respect for each other.
Yeah.
I've never had respect for you.
By the way, this is the last episode.
Well, come on.
We're done.
No, I respect all you guys' opinions, even if you like Lord of the Rings 2.0.
I just enjoy arguing.
Yeah,
We know.
me too.
So
Mark, me too. Give me that.
I feel like all the emails we've gotten have been like positive responses, which is great.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but like I promise I'm not leaving out the negative ones. We haven't gotten any
so
negative
tell us
stuff.
what we're doing wrong.
The only negative stuff we've gotten is 2 1-star votes on iTunes, and we're not even sure those are legit or not.
Right.
We think that might be a couple of our friends just being
jerks,
buttheads. But yeah, I mean, thank you guys for real.
Yeah,
like seriously.
If you want to challenge us to an argument, via email, please do.
Yes,
that would be fun. I would love it.
If you disagree with what I said about Skyrim or the world of Elder Scrolls, which I'm sure a lot of people do.
Oh my gosh!
Tell me how wrong I am, and I'll tell you how wrong you are.
Exactly. That's what I want. Yeah. It'd be awesome.
Brian's responses will be a bunch of incoherent sentences.
That's not true.
Like
followed by.
Exactly.
I'll be like, in the Lord of the Rings, Balrog, and then Mordor.
Because gangster. All right, so our other email comes from Sean. Sean says, hey guys, I own a PS3, Xbox 360, Vita, PS4, and have a decent gaming PC. It's officially cold as heck up here in the Pacific Northwest, which means I'm in hibernation mode. It's been a while since I've worked through a good RPG. This is a lame question, but instead of going out and getting a dumb game, what RPG would you recommend I work through this Christmas season? It's not a dumb question, first of all. It's pretty legit, because literally, like, the morning that we got this this email, I had just asked you guys, so what game should I play, like, for the next couple of weeks?
Right.
Because I was, like, I had no idea. I knew I wanted to do something retro. So I know I shot him back that I was looking into Final Fantasy II, which is what I ended up doing. I was also thinking about Crisis Core and Phantasy Star.
Nice. Number 2?
2.
Because you beat 1, I remember.
Beat 1, yeah. So Phantasy Star 2. But I ended up deciding on Final Fantasy 2, which I'm about to beat anyway, so I'll have to...
How are you doing, Brian?
Huh?
How are you doing, Brian? Number 2.
I'm good. I'm tearing through it.
He thought he was at the end.
I thought
I was not even close. I saw that.
Yeah. I don't play with a guide, so I'm like, I'm like 20 hours in. I'm sure I'm almost done.
What about you guys? You guys have any suggestions?
Yeah, and this is one I haven't played, but it's one that's rare, and if you can get your hands on it, and you have a Wii or Wii U, Xenoblade Chronicles, my brother swears by it.
He does not say anything about a Wii or Wii U.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go off if he has access to it. The Xenoblade Chronicles is a good one to choose from. If you don't have that, I've always enjoyed playing through games like, if we're talking RPG, if you haven't played Skyrim or even Oblivion or Morrowind, those are also excellent, even though...
That'll keep you cooped up for a while.
Or Fallout 3.
If you've got an Xbox 360, a good one is Lost Odyssey also.
Yes.
He has a PS3, right?
He does a PS3.
I would recommend, and there's no bias in this, I'm not biased at all in the suggestion, Suikoden 1.
Yeah.
$5 on PSN.
$5 to download.
And it's not because I'm a fanboy. It's just an awesome game.
If you got a chance to on good old games, Fallout 1 and 2 were free. Well, I jumped on there.
Too late for that.
Yeah. Dang it.
They were free at one point.
But they're still very
sorry.
They're still
ask a friend.
They're still very, very, very cheap on goodoldgames.com, and they're very good. So.
Speaking of that, we should have put that on the news. Did you hear that Fallout, the licensing, like all the rights to it, Interplay lost it, and it went to Bethesda.
Yep.
I believe Interplay were the ones that created the...
They were.
So that is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, that's it as far as emails and shout-outs.
All right.
Please give us iTunes reviews.
Yeah.
Please. So we'll go ahead and move on to our last thing, bi-weekly question. This week we asked... Oh, I just closed this stupid window. Have you ever donated to a site like Kickstarter or Greenlight? If so, what was it about the project that made you donate to it? Matt responded. He says, I donated to Mighty Number 9 because I think it's absolute garbage the direction Capcom took with the Mega Man franchise. The creator deserved better. As you can see by his Kickstarter, they have destroyed the goal by an extremely large margin. Kenji Inafune has a very good video on his Kickstarter that really gives a nice perspective on his thoughts towards game creation. It does look pretty awesome.
It looks amazing.
Yes, it does.
Really does. Even if you're not a Mega Man, fan,
JJ,
you still can't. I am. I love Mega Man. What?
But you don't like Super Metroid because I don't like side scrollers.
That's true. You did say you don't like side scrollers.
But I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up with a Super Metroid. I grew up with Mega Man. Oh, please! Do I need to bring up the world map again? Please. All right.
I'm looking at Mark. I'm pointing at JJ.
I'm not a fan of side scrollers. No, I'm not. But Mega Man was great. I can still like some of the games in there.
You know what? You're great.
I don't like steampunk.
That's really passive
aggressive. But I love Final Fantasy VI.
I'm steampunk.
I'm just saying. There's
No, I understand.
I got you.
He's choosing not to understand, to create an argument.
Yeah. No, I get it. Who doesn't love
You
Mega
have
Man?
the nostalgia factor that
exactly
goes past your predisposition
I
towards...
think about Mega Man 2, Mega Man 4, and I just smile.
Yeah.
Both of those.
How can you not like it?
So, and I really want to try Legends.
It's really bad.
It's expensive.
It's really good.
It's expensive. It's hard to find.
What platform is that on? PS?
PlayStation.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them, right?
Yep, there's 2 of them, and there's a Adventures of Tron Bond thing. Which
They're
I'm
not
sure
on.
how it's...
They're not on PSN.
No.
Wow.
They're not. That's why it was
Must
on
be
Mark's list for wanting to be re-released last
be
time. Way to pay attention.
Yeah, come on.
It must be a licensing thing then.
As far as the question goes,
Sidetrack City.
to be honest, I never really had donated to anything on Kickstarter. I kind of surfed the site a little bit. Planetary Annihilation was probably the first one that I ever actually looked at and was like, yeah, you know what, this might be kind of interesting, but I didn't donate it to it or anything. Chaos Drift was the first one that I actually donated to because it sounded like it was something right up my alley. And there was a game on Steam Greenlight that I like too, and I'll try and figure it out here. Why don't you guys talk about your experiences?
No is the question. Well, if you consider
talk about your experience. No.
No,
okay, Mark.
No to the question. I have done humble bundles, but
that's not.
I don't know.
Funding.
Not even remotely the same thing.
I haven't done Steam Greenlight or Kickstarter because honestly, I just hope all of you guys donate to these fun games and I get to play them.
Yeah. I kind of have that.
Does that? I mean, it's
kind of horrible to say, but it's
kind of how I feel.
True.
I'm like, oh, that's a really cool game. I hope that gets funded. I don't know. I have trouble giving money. I mean, again, I'm a passionate gamer, but I kind of have the mindset of, hey, if it's a good game, it'll come out and I'll buy it.
Soul Saga. That's the game on Greenlight.
Gotcha.
That I think looks awesome.
But
so RP Gamer actually covered a bit of it in one of their episodes a while ago.
I think Brian does have a point there. I mean, it's kind of like you give them money. Like in the normal world, you would give someone money in the form of buying their stock, and then you have a stake in it.
Yep.
But with Kickstarter, it's just it's a charity with no strings attached.
But hey, we'll make this game.
So and there have been cases of people just taking the money and disappearing.
Yes.
There's nothing to stop that from happening, but there's a level of trust involved too. Like the first one I kickstarted was what you just mentioned, Planetary Annihilation by Uber, which is a legitimate company. So I was pretty sure they weren't just going to disappear into the night with my money.
I think they may have changed it though to where they don't get anything until their time runs out.
Right, but once they raise the money, they just leave and never make what they said they were going to make.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And that's,
I gotcha.
That's been a fear of mine with those.
And it's happened, but it's
because one of the ones that I donated to didn't go through, and they sent me my money back.
Right. Yeah.
So and you have to understand that a lot of these games on Greenlight and on Kickstarter are like one-man bands, and literally the money you're paying them is so that they can work full-time on the game. And I'm not an employer. My mindset is I'll buy your game when it comes out, and I will support you that way. But I'm not going to pay. It's going to sound controversial, but I'm not going to pay somebody money to basically quit his job and work on this game full time. And that's the bulk of the money on Kickstarter for the one-offs, for the guys there's like, hey, I'm a one-man studio, but I need this much money so that I can live, so I can dedicate full time.
I don't really see any problem with that though, to be honest with you.
I understand where Brian's coming from, but I also feel like here's how I feel about it. You read a stat earlier that you said, what was it, like 80 of the games that were kickstarted were adventure /
84 of them. RPG / adventure games.
Right. So we're seeing games that the mainstream market isn't focusing on.
Yes.
Actually happening because we're able to. It's like that meme on Reddit. Take my money with Fry.
Take
with
my
a
money.
Handful of money.
Yeah. Yep.
It's we want to give them money and have these games come out, and studios aren't giving it, or publishers aren't giving it to us. Yep. So we finally have an outlet to get it, and I think there's a lot of value in that, and some risk involved as well.
Mark had a good point. It's not an investment. It's literally just here's my money. I get nothing from it other than maybe your game will come out and I'll buy it then.
Well, there's incentives for different levels, so you maybe get the game if you pay enough.
Right. But like I said, it just the risk is too high for me to just give them money without a service being provided to me. It sounds mean, but that's just my opinion on it.
And I don't kickstart a lot of games,
but yeah.
I'd rely, like you said, on hoping other people will. But if there's a game that really strikes me, like Planetary Annihilation, definitely was one I couldn't walk away from.
Sure.
Because I loved Total Annihilation back in the day.
Honestly, after looking at it, if Mighty Number 9 wasn't like a ridiculously outpace at school, I might have donated to that. But, I mean, I don't need to now. It's got more money than it needs.
So, mixed opinions.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it just depends on who you are, I think. Next episode, the question we're going to be asking is, many Western RPGs are known for the amount of freedom and choices that you get when you play them. On a first-time playthrough, how do you tend to play your character? Good, evil, somewhere in between, if it's possible? Should be interesting.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Yep. Well, with that, I guess we're going to be signing off here pretty soon. Please email us at frozennorthpodcast@gmail.com. Send us what you like, what you don't like, game review ideas.
Start an argument with us.
Yeah. Tell us what you disagree with or what you agree with. Tell us why Brian sucks.
And I'll tell you why I don't.
Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thefrozennorth. Hit us up on Twitter at FNPodcast. And check out our blog at frozennorthpodcast.blogspot.com. Please subscribe to us and rate us on iTunes. We could use all the help we can get on there. And yeah, please just feedback.
Guys.
Join us again in 2 weeks for episode 14. We're going to be talking about our top 5 things that we're looking forward to in 2014. And I should hopefully have this episode uploaded Monday. The Speed Gamers Zelda Marathon has been going on all weekend. I know I've talked about it the past couple episodes, and I mean it's been pretty cool to watch so far. Definitely, if you haven't already, go check them out. At this point, they're a little over halfway, I think. I have not seen them not reach a goal yet, though, so we'll see what happens. If they hit their goal on Monday, I think they're going to go for an extra 24 hours also. So, head over there, donate to a great cause, watch some Zelda, and I think that's all I got. You guys got anything else?
Elder Scrolls is not Lord of the Rings.
It is, and it is.
No. That's all I got.
Yeah.
All right. With that, we will sign off. Thanks for listening, everybody. My name is JJ.
My name is Mark.
And Brian.
Keep on gaming.
This song was made available via the Creative Commons Attribution License. The song, Somewhere in the Stars, was written and produced by SoundCloud user _TWC.